guys, how's it going? So today's project is kind of part 2 of transitioning this porch area over to more of a fall look. We already planted up a couple of containers up here, and I'm really liking how they're looking. They've got more fall colors. I'll show them to you here in a second. But I want to plant more containers today. I've got some more around these front columns. Maybe go grab some corn stalks out of the garden, and just kind of do phase 2 here. It's still pretty early, first week of September. We have a couple of really hot days still left before we have, it looks like, a big cool down, a big shift downward, which is awesome. But it makes me a little reluctant to put too many fall things out when it's so early yet. So let's start off with the containers up here. We've got a Japanese maple in the center, a bloodgood, crotons surrounding it. There's an alternanthera called Plum Dandy, a fern called Brilliance, I think this is called Floating Feathers, Carex, and then a few pansies and violas. And I did place the pumpkins, which I'm actually not going to keep out here for now. I'll put those out a little later, but I just wanted to kind of convey what I was going for because there's so much weight on this side of the container. I wanted to just kind of show what it'll look like once I harvest our pumpkins. I plan on putting a really pretty stack right there. And I'll probably put a few small ones right here just to kind of hide that drip irrigation tubing and such, but it kind of gives the illusion of what I'm going for in the end. And here's this one over here. So the alternanthera, this is an amazing plant, you guys. It was in here all summer long in full sun. Beautiful, tough, never burned, just kind of stayed more compact than a sweet potato vine, and I just didn't have the heart to take it out. And I knew it was going to make things look a little bit like a little bit off on one side, and that's kind of the reason for the stack there. Hi, bud. And the other thing I did in that video was I put out a couple of more fall themed pillows. I had black and white buffalo check here for a long time, but I just picked these up at Joann's. There's a pheasant on that one, and just a really pretty, is that herringbone? Is that what that's called? I don't know, like kind of a suede-ish back. I've also cleaned out the window boxes for the most part. There were some Rockapulco orange impatiens and wicked hot coleus, which had actually gotten really big, and they were shrouding the boxwood. So I need to do a little bit of work. I also need to reattach a tooth here. We got a little bit of a snaggle tooth going on down there. I've had these for like 4 years. They're kind of fun. Anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna get around to planting these today. I might do some trimming on the boxwoods just to tighten them up. I'm not sure that I have enough matching stuff to fill in both of these window boxes. It's amazing how many plants big window boxes take. So those 2 containers used to flank the opening by our parking area, along with the other 4 containers up here by the columns. So the larger urn is there in front, and the smaller ones are kind of bumped up to the side, and I think I'm gonna put a third container, maybe a basket. I brought some baskets up. In fact, I plopped some plants down in that one. They're not even planted yet. I was just trying some stuff out. But I might tuck that right there. I really don't like it when entryways look necked down, like when there's too much stuff. I like them to look big and welcoming and open. I tried the littler urns right on either side here first, but it just looked like they were blocking the back a little too much. It just looked like too much. So I might end up moving these pumpkins forward just because they're a lot smaller than those urns, and they won't kind of compete with the height of these, if that makes sense. Once I get pumpkins. And I do plan on, in part 3 of this transformation, I'm gonna put a garland up here like I did last year, and then we'll probably place pumpkins everywhere. I'm planning on moving these. I think I'm gonna move these containers out because I think we wanna replace them with something else. And I might just do like straw bales and more pumpkins up here and just make it look like decked out, festive for fall. So the goal this evening is just to plant up these 4 containers around the columns, possibly maintain and maybe plant the window boxes if I can gather up enough stuff, and then maybe place some corn stalks. So just a little bit at a time. And like if you start early enough, it's never gonna feel like it's too much work because, yeah, just a little bit at a time. It's a good way to do it. I should show you my hoard over here before we get started. So I went down to the garden center this morning. Look at this combination of plants. I think I'm just going to, like, this is it in the basket. Isn't that the prettiest thing? This is a dogwood called Hedgerows Gold. Love the leaf structure on this one. This one looks like almost kind of like an instant karma elderberry in a way, with the yellow and green. And then we've got a ornamental kale. This is a red boar, right? Scarletbor. And then a bronze colored mum. So beautiful. Tons of buds on it. I typically don't buy mums that are this bloomed out because mums do not last for very long, but I couldn't help myself. I just thought, oh, I can just replace it. It's fine. When this one blooms out, I'll pop it out and put pansies in, or maybe put another mum in. I got a couple of heleniums, which have beautiful color. These are called Heyday Red. I've got some Supertunia Royal Velvet. If you can get your hands on Supertunias still right now, they will last through a pretty good frost. And this is beautiful, that deep purple for fall. We've got some Tapestry Mix Pansies, some Violas that are looking really good. This is called Gem Plum Antique. Then I've got a couple of Crotons. I already went and got one bundle of corn, so I'll need a second. Then of course I always have my blower. I've got some fertilizer, potting soil. Here we go. So this is where we're at the moment. I'm gonna stop right now because I am starting to lose light. It gets a little bit hard to film when it's dim, but I did get all 6 of these containers planted, which is a really good step. So purple fountain grass in the center that was already here, surrounded by these beautiful Supertunia Royal Velvet. I think these look so pretty, especially next to this bronze mum. And I did end up popping a pansy in on that side for a little bright color. There is a red Croton right down in here. And then of course these 3 look so pretty. I could have just stopped at those 3, but you know. And then we've got the tater top arborvitae, which used to be in that container right there. Surrounded that with a Viola. Can't remember what this one's called, dang it. Plum vein, plum wing, something like that. It's a really sweet pink color right there, and just kept that one really simple. Of course, we've got the containers there and the pillows. I got the boxwoods kind of tightened up, but as I was working on them, I did decide that I think I'm gonna do a full change out on these window boxes, because I've had these in here since, oh, was it last spring? I don't remember. But the boxwoods themselves do have spider mites. They did last year as well. See that right there? That damage? So I think what the best course of action is to pot these up separately, put them alone somewhere, treat them for spider mites, and then plant them out in the landscape. And then I think doing something a little bit less wild than the ivy. I love the ivy, but boy, I would need to plant something taller in this window box to kind of compensate for how long it is. And I could trim it, but it tends to not look as good trimmed, if that makes sense. Like, it makes it too blunt somehow. Like, I like the ends it naturally gets, because it naturally wants to kind of like taper off. See that? And if you cut it somewhere, it just makes them look blunt. So anyway, jury's still out on that. And you can see that I did pull the pumpkins up front. So that is my intention, is to have the pumpkins there with little twinkly lights. But I'm going to have pumpkins and squash everywhere up here. So we'll have them all around these containers and stacked. We'll have stacks and they'll just kind of curl around this corner. I love that you can see, like, it's pretty from all sides. And that's the thing. Like, this might seem a little bit tucked in, But you really have to consider all the different angles that we see this area. Like, we see it from all of these angles here. So it really just, like, you have to consider that. It's not as easy as just planting something up against a wall and only seeing it really from one side. And I did try the corn stalks on that beam right there because they would have competed with the texture of the fountain grass, and there really wasn't space back there to put them. It just looked too messy against that beam. I need that to be clean. Because there's going to be a lot of other things going on. Plus, I think it'll be pretty, like I'm envisioning with this container gone and a straw bale and more squash and pumpkins and the corn stalks right there. I'll probably anchor them in some kind of pot or something. I think it'll look really, really cute to kind of like draw some of the fall interest this way. Anyway, that's where I'm going to stop for this evening. And then until I harvest pumpkins and squash and until we lose some leaves on our vining plants, it'll just be like this. It'll be fairly simple until we have a chance to add to it. I also had to stop right in the middle of this project because I saw a bunch of wilted stuff in the garden that I needed to go take care of. We actually lost all of our water yesterday, or it turned off yesterday, everything outside, and it was 98. And it was before, like, it didn't turn off yesterday, it turned off the night before. So none of our sprinklers ran or our drips run, and we didn't know it because they run at night. So all of a sudden in the middle of the day, we were like, why is everything wilted? So all of us spent the better part of the day just on hoses. We got no other work done other than just keeping things alive. And so today I'm still kind of playing catch up from that. So anyway, I thought I was gonna have a little bit more time to maybe swap out the stuff in the window box, but that can wait for another day. It's just kind of fun to take it a little bit slower. Usually when I'm doing a project like this, it's like you come in one fell swoop and get it all done, which there is something nice about that, but there's also something nice about just taking it slower and enjoying each step of the process. So I hope you guys enjoyed part 2 of this fall transformation, and you'll be seeing more of it as the season progresses. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.